Welcome back to another We Ourselves video, and today I want to give my review of Transformers 1. Transformers 1 is the untold story of Optimus Prime and Megatron, better known as sworn enemies, but once were friends, bonded like brothers, who changed the fate of Cybertron. The movie stars Chris Hemsworth as Orion Pax, which is his original name, and later he becomes Optimus Prime. You have Brian Tyree Henry as D16, who later becomes Megatron. You have Scarlett Johansson as Elita 1, Keegan-Michael Key as B-127, who becomes Bumblebee, Steve Buscemi as Starscream, and when he first came out, I said, I know that voice. And then, of course, I realized who it was because I did not look at the cast list before I went to see the movie. And before the movie started, they had Chris Hemsworth, Brian Tyree Henry, and Keegan-Michael Key on the screen. And they didn't say who they were going to play, but they at least presented you with that. So I didn't know the other voice actors coming in until I heard the voices. In addition, you have Lawrence Fishburne as Alpha Trion, which is a good character, and John Hamm as Sentinel Prime, who's the leader of Cybertron, and he's the villain. First things first, fantastic movie. I agree with a lot of people who say it's one of the best Transformers movies, period. It's certainly one of the best ones of the Michael Bay era, okay? If I had to rank it, I would put it behind the first Michael Bay Transformers movie. And then maybe after this, I would put Bumblebee. Because this was way better than a lot of those Michael Bay movies, one of which I actually wanted to walk out of the theater while watching it. But this movie is an origin story, and no, it's not a retread. It's actually fresh, it works, and it's one of the best origin stories that I've seen. And it tells the lie to people who are saying that there's superhero fatigue or there's origin story fatigue. I've never personally understood that by reviewers who did that with the Marvel movies and the TV shows, because you need to know the origin and what they're changing about the character. And we all know that the MCU has changed these characters. Some of them you don't even recognize them from the comics or other iterations. So for me, having the origin story is always important to know where you're coming from with this new iteration. So I've never understood people who didn't want to see, oh, it's another origin story. Screw that. And having said that, okay, sure, do it well. This is done well. The center focus of this movie is the relationship between Orion Pax, Optimus Prime, and D16, Megatron. You get to know their personalities. You get to know how they play off each other. You see that Orion Pax, he's always had that there's a brighter future and we can be better type of mentality in his spark, you know. And that's one of the things. It's not the part of them that makes them transform. That doesn't make them who they are. It's the essence of their spark. It's their personality. It's their inner being, so to speak. That was really nice in this movie, and keeping that relationship front and center really made the movie work for me. Yes, there's a lot of action, but even that action relates back to who they are as characters, and you slowly see the change coming over D16 as he slowly becomes Megatron, and you see why he does it. You see why the villain, Sentinel Prime, pushes him over the edge. And in a way, you're kind of cheering for him, even though you know where he's going to end up. And so it's a little heartbreaking to see that these two former friends actually become enemies by the end. And of course, not spoiling anything because it's an origin story of where Optimus Prime and Megatron come from. People are saying that this isn't just for kids or it's not for kids. And some might be saying it because of some of the actions and some of the things that happen in there. I think we just need to get over the fact that kids' cartoons and animated features, anything over 9 years old, it's going to have some action in there and it's going to have some violence in there. It's just where we are as a community when it comes to animated features and things like that are supposedly for kids. It's going to have some stuff in it. But that being said, I think one of the other big reasons why people feel like it's really aimed at adults also, I think they have done with this movie what Pixar did with this movies. They have things in there that adults will pick up and understand immediately that might go over the heads of kids. One of those things being the villain. Because the villain, like all villains, he says, look, I don't care if you know the truth. The truth or the story is what I decide is going to be, and he'll take out anybody who's going to contradict him. He has no shame. He's trying to get his bag, so to speak, and he's doing whatever he needs to do to make it happen. And so, like he says, I determine what the story is. I don't care what the objective truth is. It doesn't matter. And I know adults watching this can't help but think of what's going on right now in this country, where you have political candidates who straight up tell us in our face, yeah, I lied. And, I did it because I wanted to do this and this and this. But what you're lying about is also a lie. But that seems to be lost on the people that are doing it and the people who make excuses for it. I'm looking at the villain who is understood to be the villain in the movie, and the people of Cybertron have the correct response when they find out the truth, unlike some people in this country today who's like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. It's like, for adults watching this, you're going to get it and you're going to be thinking about all these things. The second thing that I feel is aimed squarely at adults is the whole idea of transforming. Transforming is not just transforming. And I don't know if this is an added take. It feels like it is for me because I've seen Transformers through the years, including the first original animated movie that they released. I didn't follow all the iterations, so I don't know if this was brought out later, but for me, it feels fresh. And that's the idea that to transform is more about self-expression, and not only self-expression and what you're able to do and create within your world, but by extension, you're able to change the world. You're able to create a better world. And I think putting that layer of understanding to what it means to transform into the movie, I think that is squarely aimed at adults. I don't see kids necessarily getting that, but adults, it really registers with you, and it registered and resonated with me that transforming is like a cosmic birthright. And if you can't do it, then there's a reason why you are being prevented from transforming yourself, and that is a very heavy concept to have in the movie, but it all plays into this origin story and why Megatron and everybody feels so violated. I really like that aspect of this movie. And so at the end of the day, it's a good movie. People were clapping. I haven't seen people that excited and clapping for Optimus Prime. I haven't seen that since the original Michael Bay movie. That's the last time I really seen people really clap like that for Optimus Prime. And they were doing it here. So I would say, if I had to rate it, and I don't have a rating system, but I would say 5 out of 5, whatever. Go see it on the big screen because there's some set pieces that you need to see and hear on the big screen. Not just the action, but there are different camps of villains, and there's one that comes in, and that set piece and the way it's done and looks and sound is simply awesome, and you need to see it on the big screen. So I would say go and see it. You're going to have a good time. You're going to enjoy it, and you're going to see it is one of the better Transformers movies. So anyway, that's my thoughts. That's my review on Transformers 1. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are you going to go see it? Have you seen it? Let me know. And as always, like, subscribe, and share, and I will see you in the next video.